if you're in your first 1 to 3 months, basically, if you are 3 months or less into trading, whether this is your first time ever seeing it or whether you've been doing it for just a couple of months, let's drop a me in the chat, ME. Let's drop a me in the chat if this is your first like 90 days into this space. A lot of me's, a lot of me's. Yep. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Beautiful. All right. So there's going to be some very important things that I want to share with you guys here. When you are brand new, like literally your first 90 days of trading, the most important things that you guys are probably focused on right now is just making sure that you actually understand how to place trades correctly and how to navigate your apps correctly. Now, we already have that link tree that some of our leaders, shout out to them, put together to make sure that everybody coming into this free trial already knew what brokers they can go with to just set up a demo account, maybe a small live account. Some of you guys that are Akashics members already maybe have your free 10K funded account. So it's very important that you go through that and you understand how to place trades in your, Trade Locker account, MetaTrader, whatever platform you're ending up using. And I think that's something that you have to understand, that you have to just put in the reps, right? It's just practice. It's just really being hands-on with the apps that we're interacting with. Because once you understand how to press the buttons, once you understand how to open a trade, close a trade, move your stop loss to break even. Some of these things you guys already know. Some of you guys in here are like, I don't even know what you're talking about, right? So that is the first and most important thing. You need to get acclimated to understanding how to press the right buttons to avoid silly mistakes. Once you guys can have enough practice of just entering and closing trades, you've graduated to another level as a trader. You can just put that in the back burner. It's like tying your shoes, right? But we have to start at the building blocks and the very simple things for you to get to the big digits that you're looking for. There's no way around it. It's like trying to become an NBA basketball player and you don't even know how to dribble the ball. So everybody starts somewhere, humble beginnings. The best thing you can do is get your demo account, open trades, close trades, play with it. Get very accustomed to understanding the platform that you're using. Very simple. That's what we got to start with. All right. Now let's assume that you've already kind of understood how to enter trades, close trades, at least to a basic level. This conversation here is going to be the most important thing for the rest of this free trial, because it doesn't matter what strategy you end up using over time. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your trading account right now, whether it's a little bit or a lot. If you do not understand something called risk management, there's no point in even trying to do this properly. There's no point. And so you've probably heard some educators talk about this, but again, my goal with this session is to do a couple of things. And number one is to maximize the profits that you're going to make from this free trial and understanding how to also protect your account. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen, today was an overall very profitable and great day in the markets. But not every single day is going to be a home run. Not every single day is going to be a walk in the park, all roses and flowers, right? You have to understand that in any business and in anything you do, you're going to have great days and not so great days. And trading at the end of the day comes down to math. All right. Yes, there's these charts and these lines that go up and down, but it's about money in versus money out. You need to make more money than you are losing. And you're going to win and you're going to lose. So I'm going to teach you a very simple concepts here that are going to make a huge difference and a shift in your mindset about what trading is, how it really works, and how to be profitable in the long run. Okay. Because again, this free trial is not about just making $1 this week. It's about showing you how to continue to do that heading into the rest of this month, heading into 2025, and into the rest of your life. Okay. So let's talk about risk management very quickly. All right. Now, if you noticed, we had amazing trades sent out by multiple educators. I'm going to pull up the Telegram chats here really quickly, and I want to show you guys something here, okay? So we pull up Telegram, and we go to this trading chat, the copy and paste, right? We had Abid, he sent this gold trade, all right? Now, you can see this picture where he attached his chart image, And some of you guys, or maybe all of you, are looking at this and you're like, dude, I have no clue what I'm looking at right now. And rightfully so. I mean, there's a lot of these squiggly spaghetti lines, there's these green and red squares. There's just a lot going on in this picture, right? But why do I bring this up? Because Abid has a very specific strategy that he's learned over years of trading that caused him to enter the market for a specific reason. And the crazy thing is, let's look at another trade that was sent out. And this is the one that I took as well. Joseph sent this NAS 100 trade. Joseph may trade similar concepts to Abid, but maybe they don't have the exact same strategy. In fact, the reasons why I got into my NAS trade that we sent out to AkashX was maybe not even the same strategy at all that Joseph had, but we had the same idea of why we wanted to get into that buy opportunity for NAS. We even see John Leal, he sent a GBP JPY trade. This trade didn't, I think, activate. By the end of the day, this was a trade that we had formed. The market didn't do what it needed to do to activate the trade. No problem. But the point is, guys, there's 4 different educators that are sending trades for different currencies, different market types, and different ways of doing things. So what does that tell you? It tells you that when it comes to trading, it's not a one shoe fits all. There's a lot of different ways to make this work. There's a lot of different strategies that can help you make profit. But the one thing that we have in common as traders is we understand money management. So this is a very simple thing that you need to understand heading into this rest of this free trial, right? We're going to break this down into personal accounts and funded accounts. Now, I'm not going to get into any crazy detail. We're going to keep it very stupid simple, all right? If somebody is trading with, let's say, $100 account, they're just like, hey, I have $100, I'm willing to lose it. All right. First and foremost, you always trade with funds that you're willing to lose, right? Because you have to approach trading with the mindset that this money does matter to you and you do have goals, but you're not going to freak out when you see the numbers going up and down. As a trader, you'll see that we're very patient, we're very even keel mentally, we do not get rattled, right? As educators, there's a lot of pressure, let's call it what it is, on this free trial for us to not just win money for ourselves in our trading accounts, but to make sure that everybody here has an amazing experience your first couple of days in the market. So with that pressure, you have to understand that there's a state of mind that we're getting into because we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket. We're not trying to make all this money in one trade and risking the whole bank account on one idea. That's what risk management is all about. Now, some of us members here, if you guys don't know, when you get started with AkashX, you get something called a $10,000 free funded challenge account. You will learn more about that when we finish this free trial on Friday. But essentially, most people, we're going to either trade personal money that we deposit into a broker, or we're going to be trading OPM, other people's money, such as these 10K funded challenges, where you're not putting your own capital at risk. Instead, AkashX is gifting you 10,000 in capital for you to prove your skills as a trader, your money management skills as a trader, to help grow that account and split profits. Very simple. So your approach of risk management with your personal funds versus these funded accounts are going to be slightly different. But the main thing that is in correlation is that you have to make sure that you can understand 2 things: your win rate and risk to reward. That's it. These are the only 2 things that trading comes down to: your win rate and your risk to reward. Your win rate is very simple. Out of 10 trades, how many trades are we winning and how many trades are we losing? Right? So let's say our win rate is 7 out of 10 trades, meaning that we are a win rate of 70%. Okay? Risk to reward. Let's say that our risk to reward is 2 to 1. I'm going to break down what this means. As a trader, again, we have a certain amount of money we're working with. If we lose and lose and lose and lose, eventually we run out of money. And if we win, we're going to see that money go from up to what it originally was to up, half of what it is to doubling to quadrupling, etc. So there's a certain wiggle room that you have to risk in order to make profit. Now, I want to talk to you about paradigms really quickly. Paradigms are just ways of thinking that we get put into ourselves subconsciously, either through what we get taught in school, from our parents, our environment, etc. A lot of paradigms that you've probably heard of are like money doesn't grow on trees, or just these sayings that people have, right? And one paradigm that people have when they come into trading is that they need to win almost every single trade. If not, they're not successful or they're not going to make money. So I actually want to do something crazy here, and I want to actually drop this win rate from 70% to 60%. And I'll tell you exactly why I'm doing this, right? Because in school, a lot of people are taught that 60% is what grade? If you get a 60% in high school, middle school, what grade did you get in school? If you got a 60%, an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F? A D. All right. Now, if you got a D and you came home to your parents with those grades, were you going to get a pat on the back or a pat on your butt? You're going to get a pat on the butt because a D is not good. That's bad. Very bad. So automatically, we hear 60% coming into trading and we think failure, bad, reprimanded, negative. What if I told you that winning 6 out of 10 trades is actually pretty good? It's not world class, top of the line, wow, but it's actually decent. And that's where it ties into risk to reward. Risk to reward. Because whenever we jump into opportunities in the market, we're looking for opportunities based on our strategies. It could be a little bit different. But in general, if we're risking $1, we typically like to at least make what we're risking back when we win, right? But ideally, if we can risk $1 to make two, $1 to make three, doesn't that make us feel a lot better when we take that risk, knowing that the payoff is a lot more than what we're risking? Simple things, right? Okay, hold on. We got to ban this person in the chat. Hold on. Do not click any links, guys, please. If we have any co-hosts that want to help me remove this person that's spamming links, that would be great. Let me see. Hold on. All right. I was wondering when we were going to have the scammers in the chat. Hold on. I'm going to have to probably disable the chat here. Hold on. All right. Nobody. That should stop it for now. Guys, please do not click any links in the chats. All right. We have scammers. I was wondering when we were going to have a scammer come in here. And it finally happened. Okay. So let's get back to what we were discussing. Okay. So when we're talking about risk to reward, and we go with something like a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, it means that whenever we're looking for a trade setup based on our strategy, for example, you'll see this NAS 100 trade, right? There's this gray box, and then there's the blue box. Gray box being right here, and then we have the blue box right here. All right. And in this situation, and again, shout out to Joseph because, he called basically the same exact trade. So this is basically a mirror image of Joseph's trade. I think he got in actually a little bit lower, which is great. What happens here is that we're risking, let's say 50 points in this example for this trade. But this market actually ended up coming up about exactly 150 points, a little bit over that. So you guys will notice on the screen here, it says risk to reward ratio 3.01. So that means if you risked $10 on this trade, which was, hey, we jumped in with the understanding that we might be wrong. And if the market comes to here, it's going to pull us out of the trade, hitting what is called our stop loss or SL. And we are going to lose, let's say, $50. For example, that number may be smaller, bigger, depending on your account size. All right. So we were willing to risk $50 on that trade to see if the strategy pans out. And in this case, it did. And it ran for 150 points, meaning that we risked 50 to make $150. Now, again, that may be for some people $10 to make 30. It may be 1,000 to make 3,000. Then you wonder, like, if people wonder, oh, how did this person make, multiple five figures in one day trading? Well, it's because they're also risking multiple five figures on that trade most times. Not every time, but most times that's what's happening, right? So in general, guys, I'm bringing this up because you're going to see trades that come out the rest of this week, and we're going to probably have some winners again, and we also might have some losers. Will we go undefeated collectively as an education team? It's possible, but it's somewhat unrealistic. And it's not the right expectations to give you guys coming into Akashex or into this industry, because you don't need to win everything to be successful and to make money, right? The cool thing about trades like this one today, guys, is that if you win this trade and you secure that, you can actually lose 3 times in a row. Like, you can literally lose the next 3 trades in a row, and you should actually be at zero, breaking even. Now, obviously, we're here to make money. Nobody likes to be breaking even, of course. But the point is, no one's going to freak out or worry about losing one trade when you have other trades that more than make up for the loss. If you guys are following along, let's drop a 1 in the chat. If this is making sense, let's drop a 1 in the chat. I want to make sure that I can try to answer any questions as well, since I'm the last live session of the week, or I'm sorry, of the day, to make sure that everybody here feels comfortable heading into, oh, I got to turn back on the chat. Hold on. All right, turn back on the chat. I'll turn it on momentarily. I got to disable it again. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to disable the chat. Okay. Appreciate it. All right, cool. So, guys, always remember, coming into this, these are the only 2 things that matter. This is the only 2 things that matter. Out of 10 trades, how many do you win? And when you win, are those wins much bigger than your losses, or just about the same? Even if your risk to reward ratio was, 1-to-1 risk to reward, you make you risk $1 to make $1, you can still technically make profit with winning only 6 out of 10, because you're up $6 minus the 4 that you lost, right? So think about it that way, and you're going to be in a much better state of mind, right? Again, today was an easy day because we just had a lot of winners. But if and when you guys start having your losses, that's where you're really tested to understand if, you really get it when it comes to trading, right? So that's risk management, very simply put. All right, very simply put. In Akashex and through our videos and series and everything, we are able to teach you guys how to actually calculate what is called your lot size, that number that you're typing in whenever you jump into the trade to determine how big of a contract size you have on. We teach you how to calculate that. And the great thing is, with Tap to Trade, those numbers are auto-calculated to fit your risk parameters on your account. And you can still manually edit them and really just choose the risk that you want to have. But between our technology and education, there's never a reason, never. And this is something that holds a lot of people back from going in a free trial to actually doing this, is they think they're going to lose all their money. Guys, understand that when you pull the trigger on your next trade, you have full control of how much you want to risk max before you even jump into that trade. So there's never a time that somebody should be losing a lot unless you simply just didn't care. You wanted to risk it for the biscuit. You got greedy. You just did whatever you wanted. You weren't paying attention. It will always be because of a decision you make, not that the market makes. So any fear that you have coming into trading, I want you to erase it, because as long as you start small and learn how to play with your trading account to understand the buttons, and you focus on being disciplined and not trying to make a home run in one single day, just get your incremental gains. You will be so surprised how fast your account can grow when you look at it on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and a yearly basis. All right. So that's what I wanted to talk about risk management wise. So guys, heading into tomorrow, you want to make sure you understand, with your personal accounts or funded accounts, risk something that you're willing to lose, and understand that as long as you are letting these trades run to their targets and you're following the instructions from the educators on these trades, then you should be hypothetically at least making back whatever you lost last time on this next trade, if not more. That's the way we do things. All right, cool. So that is that. That is that. Now, I want to talk to you guys really quickly. This is something I don't want to get too in depth on, but these are one of the strategies that I personally teach. Now, when you get involved into trading, you're going to have access to a lot of different strategies and a lot of different things that you can trade. Some people love trading Forex. Some people like trading things like gold. Gold is a very popular thing that gets traded here in Akashex. And then you have something called the indices, which is what I personally specialize in. This is basically the stock market, right? And what I trade mainly is something called NAS 100. And NAS 100, all that really means is these are like the top 100 companies in the United States, basically tech stocks. So you're looking at your Amazons, your Teslas, your Nvidia, all that stuff, right? So in the trading space, you guys will kind of over time with practice start to figure out what you like to trade. Again, whether it's commodities like gold or silver or oil, or if you like trading currencies, or if you like trading the stock market. For me, I really like trading the stock market, and here's why. And this is a strategy called Liberty that I created at the beginning of this year, and we've seen crazy amounts of testimonials of people using this strategy to win. And all of our educators have their signature things that they do. But the reason why I call this Liberty and why I want to show this to you guys is to inspire you to understand another paradigm that sometimes people have that holds them back from getting into trading, which is you need to be on the charts all day in order to be successful. If you've ever heard of that, or if you actually feel that that's kind of true, like if you feel honestly that you have to be on the charts all day to make money, drop a yes in the chat. If you feel like that's how you think right now, I have to be on the charts all day to make money, I have to be glued to the computer, type a yes. So some people do believe that, you see? Some people do. Now, what I want to let you guys know, all right, is that you do not need to be on the charts all day in order to actually make money. Personally, I was only really looking at the charts for, I think it was max 2 hours, not even today. And there's days where we might look at it a little bit more, but for the most part, you do not need, 6, 8, 10 hours to be looking at the chart to make money. We're going to refer back to today's trade here. This target that was hit right here, we're going to look at this. Now, you might notice at the top of the screen, we have this button that says 15M. And if we hover over it, it says 15 minutes. All that means is that we are looking at this chart on a 15-minute time frame. You'll notice the bare minimum of what a chart actually consists of is something called candlesticks. It's basically these little like candlesticks, right? Like these little lines that you see going up and down. And when we're looking at a 15-minute chart, each one of these candles represents 15 minutes worth of time. So if we actually look at this, right? The market, I was actually looking at the market slightly before. So I'm not going to say we're going to count it from when the trade activated. I was looking at it, I think like right at 8:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m. Eastern right here. So this was 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour 15, an hour 30, an hour 45. So from when I started looking at the charts from here to here, this is 3 times my risk in a matter of 2 hours. And that's why I call this Liberty, because for me, trading was always about having freedom, right? It was always about being able to just live life on your terms. And I don't know how many other jobs are out there where you can basically work for 2 hours and make your money and be done. 2 hours. One trade, one session that you dedicate a day, whether it's New York session, that window from 8 in the morning to 5 p.m., that's New York session. Some people that are maybe in Europe or other parts of the world like to trade London session, which on the East Coast of America time is 3 a.m. till about that 8 a.m. window. Everybody's lifestyle is a little bit different. The markets are something that's operating basically 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. So you guys can fit this into your lifestyle. And yes, we do have educators on staff that cover the different sessions. You've already seen some London session trades. You've already seen people trading during New York session. Some people are even trading now during Asian session. There's ways to make money around the clock. For me and my lifestyle, I like being able to trade basically from that 8 in the morning to noon time frame, somewhere in that little range. And the cool thing is, guys, look, sometimes the markets are not going to give us any good setups that we like. So we just simply don't even trade that day and walk away. This is a paradigm that people have to adjust when they get into this. When it comes to investing and trading, the mindset is not that you have to take more trades and you have to work harder to make more money. It's about working smarter and finding opportunity. So when you're brand new and you want to get really good at this, of course, you're probably going to put in a lot more sweat equity. You're going to be studying more. You're going to be practicing more. You're going to be probably on the charts for longer. But once you start getting the hang of it and you spend more time as a trader in your life, you actually start trading less and less. You start spending less and less time on the charts because you already know what to look for. You already understand what this is. And you can spot opportunities very quickly. And if you can't, it's because they're not there. So this is a way for you to create a lifestyle where you can be in and out of the markets in less than a few hours with your profits and call it a day and spend the rest of the day how you like. For me, that's what trading is all about. And so you have the opportunity to do that. Now, some people are saying, well, Rich, I only have $100. Even if I take this trade and we're out in 2 hours, I maybe only made $20 or $30. Well, that's where I want to show you guys one more thing here, and then we'll open up to some questions, which is what's the realistic plan for you coming into 2025 to make trading alone become a life-changing income? If you guys would be excited to like really get a genuine, real plan for how you can make trading income absolutely change your life, let's drop a quick one in the chat. Like, I'm not even trying to hype it. Like, I'm going to give you a real blueprint for how you do it. I see the ones in the chat. I see the ones in the chat. Let's go. Let's go. All right. All right. Now, this is going to really kind of depend where you are financially in your life because there's 106 of us on here, but not everybody here is in the same exact place financially as other people. Some people are making less than $50,000 a year. Some people are making less than $20,000 a year. Some people on here are making six figures. Some people on here are probably already seven figures and above. Everybody's in a different place. I'm going to speak to where most people are at in not just the US, but in the world, right? Where we are middle to lower income, meaning that we're maybe comfortable and we're okay. We're able to survive. Like we're in a good place, but we're not thriving. Like we can't just pick up and, retire our family. We can't just pick up and decide we want to travel this month because we feel like it, right? I feel like everybody just wants at least that freedom. They want to have the freedom to just feel that no matter what's going on in the world with politics or this or that, that you have a skill set and you have a way to make income where you can pick up and go, you can take care of your people, and you can live life more than comfortable. And so again, depending on where you're at financially is going to determine how fast you can do this. But I'm going to tell you right now, I've been doing this for 6 years. And you do not have to become a superstar, super successful person in your first month or your first 90 days or even your first year. Now, I will say we've had some some ridiculous testimonials, like ridiculous, of people that come in with little to no experience at all that have had 4 and 5 figure months in their first 30 to 60 days. I'm going to tell you right now, that is not typical at all. It is not going to be a walk in the park for you to just come in here your first 30 days and to make $10,000 plus. It happened and it continues to happen. But the one thing in common, guys, with these people that have done that is that they are very personally developed. These are people that have maybe made some money in other businesses. They've touched five figures in a month before in other avenues, or they don't get rattled by that type of money as much. So it depends where your mind is at, where what you're used to, where's your financial thermostat? Because look, some people are gonna see on a screen the mark like their account go up 1,000 and down 1,000 in the matter of 2 to 3 minutes, and you would freak out if you saw that happening to your money. For other people, they see it go up 1,000 or two every 5 minutes, and it's like whatever because they're used to making 50 grand a month. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be realistic with where you're at financially right now and start to increase that thermostat over time. And trading is something that can help you adjust that thermostat very quickly, let me tell you. You have to become desensitized to the numbers and you have to start looking at your performance. And that's where this plan comes into play. I want you and I want everybody in here to focus on performance over money. Focus on performance over money. Now, I know somebody's going to think, bro, but we're here to make money. I get it. But here's why I tell you what I tell you. If you personally have $100,000 to throw into a personal trading account right now, I'm not going to tell you to drop it in the chat that you can or that you will, right? That's your personal preference. Some people can right now off this Zoom put 100 grand into a trading account of their own money right now to trade with. I would venture to say most in this chat, if not almost, like literally maybe everybody almost cannot do that or will not do that. But why Rich? Well, because even if you have 100 grand to your name, do you really want to put that at risk in the market all at once like that in a brokerage account? Unless you're up like a mil, you probably wouldn't even put 100 grand into an account just like that. You see what I'm saying? So where are you getting at? Well, I want somebody to just hear me out here. Focus on making 5 to 10% a month profit. And look, especially in your first year, you're going to have up and downs. You're going to have times where you yourself have family problems. Maybe your parents are getting sick and maybe are almost dying. Maybe you're going through something where you lose your job. Maybe like everybody here has real problems and real life things that happen to them. I have to be very dramatic like that because when those things happen, are you really built like an entrepreneur to handle that? Are you really ready to make this type of money while going through life's challenges? And the answer realistically today, right now, may not be, but that's why we're here to grow together as a community. You see, we've been able to have access to multiple 6, 7, and 8 figure earners that have been through plenty, and they know who they are on the chat. Plenty of personal problems and still manage to become very successful and help other people become successful in the midst of those storms. So the bulletproof mindset, guys, is the part that people try to overlook. I highly encourage you, whether you decide to get started with Akashics or not, because look, the reality is some people on this free trial, you're just somehow not going to pull the trigger on this opportunity. There's going to be at least one. It is what it is. We're not here to get every single person involved. We're here really for that one person. We're here for that one person that's going to get started on this free trial, that's going to take this business to a whole nother level, that's going to become a crazy testimonial. Just one. But you got to decide if you are going to be the one. Because when I was a student 6 years ago and nobody knew who I was at all, I already saw this day. I didn't have a plan B. There was no other option. So coming into this, you have to come in with that attitude. You have to have that belief in yourself that no matter what, like this plan that I'm about to show you, you're going to see it through. Whether it takes 30 days, 90 days, a year, 5 years. Why? Because it's worth it. Because it's worth it. If this isn't worth it, just get off the call. Get off the call. But I think it's very worth it, and I'm going to show you why. We're going to talk about making a performance mindset of 5 to 10% a month profit. Now, if you make this with $100, of course, you're talking about making $5 to $10 a month. Now, anywhere in the world, $5 to $10 a month is not cutting it. I'm just call it what it is. Not cutting it. It's not. So what's the solution, Rich? Well, look, I'm gonna say this real quick, and this is the route that you can pull off, but it's not sustainable long term, and it's gonna cause you a lot of stress. Is the person that wants to take $100 to $100,000. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done. Is it like very like this is like you'd be a phenom, let me tell you. Like if you pull that off, you're a phenom in the space. Phenom, because those type of returns are unheard of. So I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but the probabilities of anybody on this call pulling this off without blowing the account along the way is probably lower. And again, it's not sustainable if you want to have this become life-changing income for the rest of your life. Because guys, even if you pull this off, 100 grand, I mean, it's great. I'll take 100 grand myself, right? But you can't even buy a house with that money, guys. You can't even buy a house with that money. So we need to think long term. We need to think bigger. This is where capital is number one. Capital is number one. You need capital. Now, again, toward the end of this week, you're going to start finding out ways that you can receive up to $200,000 in trading capital. That's where we're starting to like head towards the end goal, but not that far off, believe me. Let's start off with your 10K account. Because when you get started with Akashex, you're going to have 10K in trading capital up front. And for the 200K, we're going to put this as goal. Okay. So 10K in trading capital up front is what you're going to get starting Akashex. All right. Now let's talk about this 5 to 10% a month profit. I'm not going to get in depth with how the funded accounts work and all that stuff. I'm not saying you have to get a funded account. I'm just saying this is the blueprint for how you can do it faster with less stress and just having a more sustainable approach long term. Okay. 10,000 in trading and capital just for starting with Akashex. When you get that 10K, 5 to 10% a month in profit, which again, I'm not picking a number that's very unreasonable. I'm not telling you to double the account. I'm not even telling you to make 20% of the account. I'm just telling you 5 to 10% a month. Because what happens if you make 5 to 10% a month of $10,000? Well, 5% is 500 and 10% is $1,000. So if you can get yourself to make 500 to $1,000 in profit consistently, right? And that number could go up and down. Some months you might get only 3% profit. Some months you get 12% profit. So I'm just saying on average, right? On average, if you make that 500 to $1,000 with that 10K account, now here's the test. Here's the test. Are you somebody that takes that 500 or $1,000 and pays your bills with that money? Or maybe buys, I don't know, a modest little watch for Christmas. You pay your car insurance. And if you want to do that, hey, look, go ahead and do that. At the end of the day, it's not for me to tell you what goals you need to have. It's not for me to tell you how much money you should be aiming to make with this stuff. But I'm just showing you a plan to really change your life. Because for me, I think you need to be making multiple 5 figures a month to start even beginning to change your life the way that the world is right now. If you take this $1,000 and you reinvest it, you can acquire this 200K in trading capital. I know some people are going to ask, oh, how? Huh? Just take the trades this week, trade your accounts, your demos, your small accounts, whatever. Trade your money. Don't worry about that yet. but I'm just showing you and inspiring you that this is where you need to go. This is where you need to go. Don't try to become a super trader catching like a 1% risk to make 20% gain. People try to do that all the time where they're trying to make like a 1% risk and make like 50% in one trade. Good luck. You're better off just acquiring more capital. This was not something that was an option even like 10, 15 years ago. Even when I started, that wasn't really a thing like that. This is readily available for you today. Literally, like you can today acquire this. What happens is when you make these reinvestments of what you already did on a 10K account, right? 5 to 10% a month. If you did 5 to 10% a month on your 10K, is it any different than doing it on the 200K? I'm gonna turn on the chat to like genuinely ask you guys, is doing the 5 to 10% on a 10K different than doing it on a 200K? No, no, very possible. So again, I'm not even saying like if it sounds scary or if you think you could do it. I'm saying, is this the same on here as here? And the answer is correct, what Charles said. It's the same. Like it's the only difference is the account balance. So why did I tell you forget the money, focus on what? Performance. Because if you focus on performance, then what you did on this 10K account that you're gonna get for free just by joining Akashex, if you can do that consistently, you can already do this. What's the difference? And you know what's crazy? When you do 5 to 10% a month on that account, all of a sudden, same performance, same trades, you go from 10 to 20K a month in income. And I think that should be pretty life-changing for almost everybody here. Pretty life-changing. And if you wonder if any Akashex people have done this, they've already done it. In fact, some people have done it in their first 30 to 90 days. That's not typical, but if you think that like if you're not typical, then it's possible for you. If you're just an average Joe, I don't really know if life has a lot in store for me. I'm just gonna try my luck and see how this thing goes. Then you're not gonna do this. That's why I tell you, you have to change from within before you come into this platform. Or while you're in this platform, you're gonna have to grow. You're gonna have to grow because you're gonna quickly realize that you jumping from 500 a month to 10K a month could literally happen in a 30-day shift. But you know what's the one thing that is gonna stop you from the performance is you lose focus of this and you go back to thinking about this. Because a lot of people, they choke. How many people like practice sports all day, right? Like they're basketball or football players and they practice in the gym all the time. But when it comes to the finals or when it comes to the Super Bowl, all of a sudden you start choking up a little bit. You start to get a little bit more nervous. You start to really like feel the pressure. That's the only thing holding you back, not just in trading, but in your life from getting to your next level, is you're literally holding yourself back mentally because you don't think you're worth the more money. Because if you can pull off trading that 5 to 10% profit on that 10K account that you're getting for free, you're doing the same work, you're taking the same trades. The only difference is you had more money where your mouth is. So I hope that inspires everybody here to not just get started with Akashex, but to truly believe, not because it's a motivational call and I want to pat you on your back. I'm talking about performance. I'm talking about doing the work. If you can take trades like the one that Joseph sent out today, like the ones that Abid sent out today, triple, look, 5 to 10% a month, right? You risk 1%. We already made 3% on this trade, for example. Even if you just took this one trade, and this is what I want to show you eventually, when you get that 200K in capital and you catch one trade like this, risking 1%, to make three with a 200K account, that is $6,000 in 2 hours of trading right here. It happened today. You guys probably even took the trade. But some people on that trade made $10. Some people made 100. Some people made 1,000. This was a $6,000 trade if you had this 200K and you risked 1% on that trade. Literally, like it was already there in 2 hours. That, when you understand capital and you understand risk to reward and performance over money, oh my Lord. And then you wonder why we're so excited about this free trial. Why you're so, why you wonder why we're so fired up to show this to everybody in the world and why we want to continue to grow this business is because we literally have the solution for helping you get not just the capital, but the trades and the means to actually get it done every single day. So with that said, guys, I am going to wrap up this call. I hope that this inspired all of you to just like go harder if you're already in Akashex. And if you're not in, I hope that this has been a fantastic day one to show you not just the trades and everything, but the mindset you're going to get here, the community that you're going to get here, the motivation, everything that you need. The only thing that we can't do for you is that you got to bring yourself to work. You got to show up. You got to make the decision to get started. You got to make the decision to plug into the calls. You got to make the decision to take these trades and do it long enough to see the results. All right. So, guys, I appreciate you so much. I hope that this call was big time for y'all. I hope you have an amazing rest of your night. I will see you guys tomorrow and the rest of this week for what has been already a cool, super great free trial. So, much love, guys. We'll see you on the next calls. And as we like to say, let's run it up.